The reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard. And he talked about it in the court case. You know, he's talking about cocaine. Like that was the whole thing, that we're all doing cocaine.
And saying is this: when you knock a champion who's been that dominant and that good for 10 years out in 14 seconds,
13.
there is a question, which is, was that in some ways
Joe Rogan, the UFC icon, has strongly criticized the idea of a Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor fight, highlighting a key point that many are missing. Rogan is skeptical of the whole YouTuber-turned-boxer phenomenon, and especially doubts Jake Paul's confidence in taking on McGregor, a fighter who has been having a tough time bouncing back since his match with Mayweather. Ask ChatGPT.
That's him now. He's super jacked.
He looks like a bodybuilder.
See, that's what he looks like now. He's still jacked. Still looks great. He looks good, though.
Whoa.
He looks so old now.
He looks different.
Perhaps the most important fight of your career. Give us your thoughts on this rematch. He should have killed me when he had the chance, because now I'm back and I'm going to kill you and your whole f***ing team. You and their kids. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants. That's what I dreamed into reality.
Rogan wants to make it clear that Jake Paul isn't the unstoppable powerhouse he believes himself to be. Yes, Paul has millions of fans and plenty of confidence, but does that really translate into a real shot at knocking out a seasoned fighter like McGregor?
And that is that a lot of fighters, when they've sustained a significant amount of damage.
Let's jump into Rogan's passionate take on the Paul versus McGregor showdown. This is sure to be an intense ride. Ask ChatGPT.
Now I think people are coming around. I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was like 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fight. He knows how to fight. Nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not like sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well.
This wasn't about breaking down strengths or picking a winner. It was Joe Rogan's moment to kick back and have some fun with the whole spectacle. First up, Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer, seems to be enjoying trolling the masses, and Rogan didn't hold back calling him a master troll. You have to give credit where it's due. Jake's marketing game is on another level. He's like a circus ringmaster, commanding attention, even if it's just to watch the chaos unfold. As for Jake's boxing career, Rogan keeps it real. He acknowledges that Jake has knocked out some notable names, though most were well past their prime, like Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, and Anderson Silva. Rogan says if Jake weren't a YouTuber, people might actually take his boxing skills more seriously. Still, Rogan admits Jake packs real power in his punches, even if his opponents haven't exactly been elite-level fighters.
Looks good, and if he was just an up-and-coming boxer that was this exciting, like highly promotable, like really good at selling fights, you'd be like, this kid's the future.
Then there's Conor McGregor, the former UFC golden boy who's been on a steady decline for a while now. True to his straightforward style, Rogan didn't hold back on McGregor's fall from grace. He believes McGregor's biggest downfall wasn't a loss of skill, it was his own self-destructive behavior. All the fame and fortune hit McGregor hard. At his peak, he was unstoppable, always trash-talking and full of confidence. But somewhere along the way, it all went to his head. The partying and excess finally caught up with him. Sure, McGregor is still in great shape, but that's not enough to mask the chaos in his life. Legal issues, failed business deals, and a damaged reputation have turned his once iconic image into a cautionary tale. It's been a complete train wreck.
I don't know if Conor's ever going to fight again.
What's happening with his the civil suit? He's being dropped by all his companies or something?
Yeah, I don't know the real details of that case, but the reality is that guy's partying, and he's partying real hard.
Rogan doesn't mince words when it comes to McGregor. This was the guy who was meant to be the greatest, the one destined to dominate the sport. And for a time, he did just that. With a 13-second knockout of Jose Aldo and becoming the first fighter to hold 2 UFC titles at once, McGregor had the world at his feet. But, as Rogan highlights, the story didn't stop there. McGregor reached his peak and then started to unravel. From trashing buses to strange clashes with other fighters, and putting on a circus-like show both inside and outside the cage, his fall from grace has been nothing short of chaotic. It's been entertaining to watch, no doubt, but also undeniably tragic.
Which is Dylan Dennis is a professional fighter. He's a professional fighter. He jumps out, he takes a swing at him. They're screaming, and Dylan's like, "Fuck you," and he's like, "Fuck you," and there's a bunch of people get involved, and then a bunch of other people jump in. The whole thing was nuts. But the idea that we should be shocked after him throwing a dolly at a bus because Khabib's on the bus, those Russians don't fucking play like that, man.
Yeah.
Let's revisit the infamous bus incident, the one where McGregor threw a metal dolly at a bus carrying his UFC rivals. Rogan's take? Classic chaotic McGregor behavior, and honestly, nobody should have been shocked. That stunt landed McGregor in serious legal hot water, which, let's face it, doesn't exactly scream world champion material. But Rogan doesn't stop at calling out the antics, he digs deeper, pointing to McGregor's lack of focus and his now notorious partying lifestyle. There's been endless talk about wild nights, rumored cocaine use, and a full-on embrace of debauchery. Sure, McGregor claims he's aiming for a comeback, but with all the personal and legal drama piling up, it's tough to take him seriously. Right now, he seems to be veering into every lane except the fighting one. Ask ChatGPT.
Accused the mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor of raping her in a hotel in Dublin 6 years ago has won a civil case against him. The jury has found McGregor liable and ordered him to pay Nikita Hand €250,000 in damages.
And then there's the not-so-small matter of McGregor's legal troubles. From losing sponsors to facing a civil lawsuit, his career has spiraled into chaos. A woman in Dublin accused him of assault, which, needless to say, hasn't exactly helped his public image. Rogan doesn't sweep this under the rug, he gives it the seriousness it deserves. McGregor's life is a complete mess, and it's taking a heavy toll on his legacy. Sure, McGregor can keep posting cryptic workout videos on Instagram, but let's be real, he's not the same anymore. The fire, passion, and charisma that once made him a superstar? They're all but gone.
Fighter Conor McGregor has been accused of sexually assaulting a woman after an NBA basketball game in Miami earlier this month. A legal letter outlining the allegations was sent to Mr. McGregor and seen by BBC News. It says the alleged assault took place in a bathroom at an arena in Miami. The woman's lawyer said she'd been watching Game 4 of the finals on Friday the 9th of June before the alleged incident happened. She alleged the woman was forced into a men's bathroom by security guards from the NBA and Miami Heat before being violently assaulted by Mr. McGregor.
Then there's all the buzz about McGregor's comeback. Sure, he's hinting at it, but it's hard to take seriously when everything around him keeps falling apart. After his brutal leg injury in 2021, fans started wondering if the McGregor they knew would ever come back. The truth is, McGregor isn't just dealing with physical recovery, he's drowning in a heap of other problems. With so much chaos surrounding him, no one can say for certain what the future holds. Rogan, however, isn't optimistic. Between the non-stop drama and McGregor's focus seeming more on partying than training, a true return to form feels like a long shot.
As for Conor, is that ever happening? Or
I don't know if Conor's ever going to fight again.
what's happening with his he just got like the civil suit
Yeah.
or whatever, and he's being dropped by all his
Yep.
companies or something?
Yeah.
Not so fast. Rogan, always the realist, pointed out that Jake Paul isn't just some washed-up social media star trying to punch above his weight. Sure, he started as a YouTuber, but Rogan isn't dismissing him. In fact, after watching Jake's fight against Tyron Woodley, Rogan called him legit. No more jokes about Jake not being a real fighter. Joe admitted that Paul packs serious knockout power if you're not careful. While Rogan acknowledges Jake's fight IQ isn't on the level of elite UFC fighters, he's quick to remind everyone that Jake is competing in a real sport. The guy's been sparring with pro boxers and training alongside names like Canelo Alvarez and Ryan Garcia. Jake Paul isn't playing around in the gym, he's putting in the work and proving he's more than just hype. Ask ChatGPT.
As a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Don't get Joe wrong, he still gives McGregor credit when it comes to his striking. After all, McGregor built his reputation on pinpoint accuracy and devastating power. But the reality is more complicated than that. Since the Mayweather fight, McGregor's life has been consumed by excess. It's not just the money and fame, but the heavy toll it's taken on him. He's been through more than most realize, both inside and outside the cage. Sure, he was living large, but not in a way that helped his career. The partying, injury setbacks, the brutal leg break, public meltdowns, they've all added up, leaving a fighter who's no longer in his prime. Rogan believes a big part of McGregor's downfall was his failure to resist the temptations that came with his success. In Rogan's eyes, McGregor's self-destruction wasn't just about aging, it was about having too much money, too much fame, and not enough discipline to stay on track.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what, if I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, who would fuck you up.
This is where Jake Paul's rising legitimacy comes into focus. Say what you want about his antics and cringeworthy online persona, but when it comes to boxing, he's no joke. Rogan takes a moment to highlight how Jake's career has shifted toward the professional side. He's been taking real fights and training seriously, and that's clearly raising his profile. While Jake may have started out as a celebrity boxer, he's quickly evolving into a fighter who knows how to throw real punches, and the world is starting to take notice. But here's the challenge McGregor faces: he's been out of the game for a while. Joe is blunt. Despite McGregor's past greatness, his long track record of poor choices, injuries, and distractions doesn't exactly make him the prime candidate for a comeback. The moment he stepped away, McGregor began drifting from his peak. Sure, he might still have the skills to be a threat, but how much of that killer instinct remains after all the fame and fortune? That's the question Rogan keeps coming back to. So, what's the bottom line? Could Jake Paul actually beat McGregor in the boxing ring? According to Joe Rogan, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. McGregor has been through countless battles, injuries, and distractions, while Jake has been putting in serious work, sharpening both his boxing skills and mental toughness. McGregor might still be dangerous on his best day, but how many of those best days does he really have left? Rogan doesn't give a clear-cut answer, but his message is clear: Jake Paul isn't the joke many make him out to be, and McGregor's prime may well be behind him.